next to Nate Burleson alongside Peter Schrager and Kyle Brandt. And this is one of those where were you when games. It is an instant classic, and I believe that it changed the game forever. That's right, hands down the game of the season, the game of the week, the game of the year, the game of the decade, potentially. Chiefs and Rams, I'm not even exaggerating, Kyle.
It was incredible. We're glowing right now.
Let's go.
Should we go to the Coliseum? Should we do it?
Yeah.
Let's go. Super Bowl 52 and a half. Chiefs versus Rams. Goff is ready. Mahomes is ready. And the Rams went right down the field, guys, to start the game. No big deal. Robert Woods, pretty little pass in the corner. Got it.
Mustard.
Okay. So first blood, no big deal. They win the first round 10-9. Goff was sharp. Woods, and a lot of that from McVay in this highlight. But then they get the ball back and they go right down the field again, guys. This is Josh Reynolds in the corner. So do we have a problem now? Because after a missed extra point, it's 13-0 Rams. We got no problem. We got Mahomes who came to play 13-0. They get the ball back, and Mahomes is just looking. Look at that man, Tyreek Hill. Well, I'm just going to tell you right now, went over 200 yards in this game. He was a joke.
Hall of Famer.
Touchdown, Chiefs. There was defense in this game. Don't think it was all offense. Watch Aaron Donald do very bad things right up the interior of the line. Slaps that ball. It's a fumble. Samson Ebukam has got it. Yes, it was the Samson Ebukam game. Among many other things, it's a touchdown.
I thought it was the Josh Reynolds Gerald Everett game.
We'll get to that, Peter. Just wait. Aaron Donald, it might have been the Aaron Donald game because guess here he comes again. And he gets the ball again. It's recovered by John Franklin. Myers Squibb for the Rams recovers the fumble. Is he going to house this thing? No. But we are already at 23-23, and we've got madness. Look at Donald showing the personality and the dark side. Jared Goff looking now back in the red zone. Third quarter. Is he going to run this thing? Yes, he's going to run it. First rushing touchdown of the year with a finger roll, Nate. Oh, now we're just showing off. And we're still so much left to go. Mahomes now. Mahomes intercepted. Guys, it's Samson Ebukam, and he houses it. Second touchdowns. Aaron Donald said after the game, he got 2 touchdowns. In 5 years, I got none. Samson Ebukam with another touchdown. Let's go to the fourth quarter. It's 40-30, and it's still so much left to go. There's the laser. Look out, deuces in 3, 2, 1. Throw him up. Got it. Tyreek Hill, 73-yard touchdown. This is insane, but we still going. 40-37. Now it's the Rams' turn. What are you going to do, Jared? Chiefs defense stepping up. Justin Houston strip sack. Allen Bailey touchdown. If you're counting, that's 3 defensive touchdowns. Look at Mahomes. Unbelievable. And that's just what this had gone. 44-40. Chiefs looking. Goff. Touchdown. Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett's involved, guys. 7-yard touchdown. It's now 47-44. What do you got? I think you know. Of course it's a Chris Conley 10-yard touchdown. Of course it is. 6 touchdown pass of the night from Mahomes. The second time this season he has done that. Fist pumps galore. But now it's the Rams' turn. Jared Goff, loosen up. 51-47. That is the accurate score. Looking. Almost intercepted, guys. Orlando Scandrick had this one. Watch this reverse angle and watch the entire Rams coaching staff see their fate in front of them. He's got it. Look at McVay's looking it all the way in. And Scandrick had a tough night. He could have made amends there, but he drops it. You know what you do in this game. If you give Goff and the Rams another chance.
How about this play call, Kyle?
Gerald Everett along the side of the field. Because, of course, you dial up Everett down 51-47. No more. Goff drops it in the bucket, and the Rams
that was a dime.
A dime and a tightrope walk. This is what it took to win this game when both teams are just standing in the middle of the ring throwing punches like that one. So now it's Mahomes' turn. Now it's Mahomes with plenty of time with the ball. He's already thrown 6 touchdowns, down 3, a minute and a half to go. Looking, and he's going to get pressured. And what happens? He's intercepted by Marcus Peters. Guys, the guy who provided the pressure. Samson Ebukam again. Goff goes crazy. The Chiefs would get the ball back. It's not over. No, it's not over. We're not even going to show it. There was another interception and another chance. And McVay screaming, high-fiving, chest bumping. The game of our lifetime, 54-51, the final, a classic. Let's hear from both quarterbacks after that epic professional football game.
Yeah, it was a crazy game, and it seemed like at the end, whoever had the ball last was going to win. That's what it felt like, and ultimately our defense had 2 turnovers there at the end that proved to be the winning turnovers, and it was back and forth the whole game. It was times where we felt like we had all the momentum. We thought we were gonna put the knife in them and finish it, and then there was times where it was the other way around, where we're like, all right, we need to kind of claw back into this, and it was a fun one. It was good to get in front of our fans for sure in a time like this where a lot of stuff has been going on the last couple of weeks, and hopefully we could provide some joy, some normalcy in the last few hours, and a lot of fun for people hopefully, and get their minds off of anything they're dealing with.
The turnovers it changed the game. I think I gave them 21 points pretty much through turnovers, and just kind of like I said at the New England game, you can't give good teams points turning the ball over. So that was pretty much the changing point of the game. And there's a lot of teams that are playing well right now, and so I always will take my team over everybody just because I know that we're capable of.
This might be the greatest game a lot of us have witnessed. Unbelievable. They combined for over 105 total points last night. That is the third most in a single game in NFL history. It was the first time in NFL history in which each team scored 50 or more points. The LA Times sports front page reading, 50 looks good on ya. Yeah, it certainly does. Hands down the best game of the season. It was awesome. What do you take away from this one, Schrager? This is your Super Bowl pick. These two squads, and I'm kind of here for it if it happens again.
Sign up for a rematch right now. If I'm a little quiet, hoarse, whatever, I got to break the fourth wall here. In TV, you say you break the fourth wall when you address the audience. I stayed up for this entire game on a Monday night, and then I couldn't sleep afterwards. I'm coming in having not slept and having not shaved because it was that good.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not the only one. I had a conversation just before we got on air. We're on 7:07 a.m. Eastern with a coach who coached in this game who was lying in his bed, staring at the ceiling, couldn't sleep, wanted to just download everything and just talk. Let's talk about it. He just watched the All-22 twice back. That's the kind of game this was. And to think about the buildup, we talked about Game of the Year. We talked about the Mexico City debacle. We talked about these two young quarterbacks and these two great coaches. And for it to actually deliver, before we break down the game at all, I just almost want to take a moment to enjoy and cherish and savor and say thank you. It was that good. Yeah. It lived up to the hype and exceeded it.
Thank you, yeah.
And I remember being a kid being told about like some of the great games of all time, and those that we listed with the high scoring aren't necessarily the ones. But even like in the USFL, remember there was like the Gamblers and the Express and Jim Kelly and Steve Young. This is that game. So without any real analysis of, well, on 3rd and 10, we're going to get to all that. My initial takeaway was that this was a joy to watch, and the NFL is back on the biggest stage, and it is king. Because if it can bring the joy that that game brought to these two eyes, and I know these 8 eyes on the table, then we're in a good place. And oh my, is the future bright with those two quarterbacks under center. What a game.
This is the new NFL.
This is the new NFL, and if you're not hip to it, if you're not getting on board, you're going to be left behind. You have to keep up because these offenses are scoring. And if you're a fan of traditional defense, good night, Irene. This might not be for you.
Well, listen, for me, I'm looking at the passing game from both of these squads. You mentioned the build-up. Think about Pat Mahomes and the hype that he had going into the season. And then last year, the Rams playing so well, and then us spending the preseason with them and waiting. Speaking of build-up, we didn't see any of their starters.
Nate called the preseason game.
Well, we called the preseason game. We didn't see the quarterback, the wide receivers, the running back, defensive players. And there was no panic. There was no panic by the coaching staff. There was no panic by the LA Rams fans. You know why? Because they were waiting for games like this, in moments like this. They game planned for each other so well and was able to light up the skies. Guys were running around so open to the point where I was sitting back watching, thinking to myself, if I would have came in this era, I don't last 11 years playing football. You last 15 years playing football because you have a game plan going into each game where you're going to get open because of the play calling and the game plan. Yep. That's a credit to Sean McVay. That's a credit to Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy. This is different, Shrakes. And to your point, yes, this is the new NFL. This is the evolution of the game. So I'm waiting for teams to catch up and try to duplicate this, but I don't think too many teams are built like this. I always say all the time, if you have the technology, you're going to be faster than most teams. These guys have the technology and they have the intelligence on the sideline. This was an unbelievable passing display. I mean, they were passing everywhere. Everybody was open, just like the relationships in Hollywood.
Offense is king. We get it. This is the new NFL. It was like Mahomes and Goff went down to Santa Monica and played a game of Pop-A-Shot. That's what this game was. But I don't want to look at the score and sort of negate offense. If the game is evolving, I almost think defense is now becoming more important, but in a different way. I think it's less about total yards and less about how stout your defense maybe is, but it's about like making plays. You need playmakers on defense now. And I'm looking at guys like Aaron Donald with another 2 sacks, bringing him up to 14.5. Marcus Peters getting his revenge. Samson Ebukam, am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Samson Ebukam with his touchdowns. It's these situations that they're capitalizing on, right? It's not about total defense, total yards, over 1,000 yards in this game allowed. I get that, but it's now about who's going to make a play. That is your Aaron Donald, that's your Marcus Peters, that is your Lattimore, and that is your Cam Jordan with the Saints. That's what it's going to come down to, because I look at the top best 3 teams in the NFL. I'm looking at the 2 that played last night and the Saints. They can all score. They can all outscore each other. It's going to come down to defense and defensive studs, single players making single plays and making it happen. We saw it with the Rams last night. The Saints can do it, and that's what it's going to come down to for me, defense. I feel like it makes it oddly more important.
It does. Who can make 4 or 5 defensive plays? And we saw the Rams do it. I'm going to bring this thing back broader. This is one of those games that needs like a nickname. You know, like our parents had like the Thrilla in Manila and this was like the soiree in LA or the Trojan War or something like this.
Yeah.
This was so much bigger than a normal game. There's been 773 Monday Night Football games. This is the best ever. I mean, I remember the Fail Mary and Montana Elway and Al Michaels. He did what?
Yeah.
This was better than all of that. You know, after the game, Jared Goff says, quote, "It was an insane game. It was 4 quarters of craziness." I'll take it bigger. I think it's the best sporting event ever at the LA Coliseum. We had the 84 Olympics, Super Bowl I, Super Bowl VII, the 78 NFC title game. None of those had 2 teams being the first ever time 2 teams scored 50 points in one NFL game ever. I've never seen a game like this. I will remember this when I'm 70 years old. Afterwards, Sean McVay says, "It was a whirlwind, man. I feel like I might need a couple of beverages to relax tonight." Sean, you and me both, I think we all do. Hair of the dog, dude. Raise a glass to the Rams and the Chiefs. As Peter said, thank you. Thanks. What we do, what we do. It's why we lift all them weights. Fun. Unbelievable game. I'll always remember it.
Rest of the league is on notice. We've got 3 football games just a couple of days away. It's Thanksgiving week. Football is the best thing on the planet. We're here for all of it. Let's talk NFC North. We'll get more highlights and we'll dig into what happened last